If it wasn't already a scandal, it is now a triple scandal, ladies and gentlemen. Hunter Biden was expected to plead guilty in a slap on the wrist deal over tax evasion and a gun charge. The plea agreement fell apart. It's now being reported the plea agreement is back on, but in this story, it looks like we've uncovered a larger scandal. You see, here's basically what happened. Hunter Biden shows up. Prosecution and Hunter Biden go before the judge. The judge says, y'all come to an agreement. They say, yep. The judge then says, now hold on there a minute. What about FARA violations? That's being required to register as a foreign agent. And the prosecution says, but it's not in here. Biden's team says, no, it's covered. Prosecution says, no, it isn't. And they go, what? Deal's off. Interesting. I'll read through it because maybe I could be getting the context a little bit wrong, but I'm going to show you what we have going on. But it seems like behind the scenes, the prosecution said to Hunter Biden, look, you're going to plead guilty to these tax things, allowing us to give you a slap on the wrist, but it also means no FARA prosecution, no other charges. But the judge noticed this is not in there. And the judge said, aren't there other things you could charge him for? And they're like, well, yeah, I guess. And then Hunter Biden's team was like, no, we don't agree. The judge seems to have caught them. If the judge just went, looks good to me, their secret backroom deal could have been pulled off. But it's speculative. It is speculative. Check out this story from Just the News. Hunter Biden plea deal falls apart as prosecution says first son still facing active investigation. Conservatives urged Judge Mary Ellen Noriega to reject the deal. Now we have another update. This one from Reuters. Hunter Biden and prosecutors agree to more limited plea deal. It seems what's actually happening is it will take place. Now, look, by the time you watch this video, because I do record these things in advance, it may be completely different. But let me break down some of the commentary. We got Will Scharf. He says, the Hunter Biden plea deal was apparently more outrageous and far-reaching than had previously been publicly known. In return for pleading to the 2 misdemeanor tax fraud charges with a joint recommendation of no prison time, Hunter was getting not just pretrial diversion on his felony gun charge that would leave his record clear if he completed probation, but also broad guarantees against further prosecution on a wide range of other charges that haven't been publicly aired as of yet. Hunter refused to plead guilty without these guarantees, so the judge effectively blew up the plea. Hunter wants to walk away from a decade of criminal activity, including potential FARA violations and other serious criminal charges with a slap on the wrist. It's a scandal that Biden's DOJ was willing to agree to this kind of deal. Fortunately, Judge Noriega isn't playing ball. Take a look at this from Marina Medvin. She says, actually, let me start with what she's quoting. Alex Salvi says, so the deal is off. That was the news an hour ago from recording this. Said, here's where we stand. The DOJ and Biden plea deal is falling apart. Judge raised immunity concerns. The DOJ said investigation into Biden is ongoing. DOJ, no immunity for future crimes. Biden team surprised by this, deal off. The two sides are attempting to salvage the deal. And of course, the latest update is that they may have salvaged some kind of deal, saying the two sides met during recess and Biden's team is agreeing to a more limited plea deal that would provide immunity for the drug, gun, and tax crimes, but not future prosecution. We have this tweet from Marina Medvin. She says, whatever happened in the Hunter Biden case wasn't based on what was filed publicly. The fallout was due to something that the parties had agreed to privately, something that was not enforceable by a court. This is shady AF. There is no way the feds gave Hunter blanket immunity and a global plea deal, but then failed to write it down. But the defense lawyers seem to have believed there was some kind of promise made under the table. Technically, the statute of limitations gives Hunter the blanket cover they are all looking for. The feds control when to bring their cases, so don't expect this to all work out in charges. Let's break this down. Again, both sides, prosecution, Hunter Biden, go to court. They say, here's our agreement. Thank you, judge. The judge says, couldn't there be other criminal charges? The prosecution has no choice but to say yes, because there can be. They're not going to pull a fast one on the judge. So they say, well, yeah. There's no alternative thing they can say. The judge then says, okay, so this doesn't cover that? You're correct, Your Honor. It doesn't. Hunter Biden's team then says, I see where this is going. No way. We had an agreement. Speculative, I must add. But the general idea is that behind closed doors, the Hunter Biden legal team goes to the prosecution and says, we want to guarantee you're not going after Hunter on anything else. We'll plead to these things and only these things, and then you stop. And they said, yes. But we can't write that down. It would send shockwaves through the media. The judge would throw it out. Between you and me, we're good. Now, if that's the case, what do you tell the judge when the judge asks you if you can charge them? The answer is yes. You can't lie to the judge. It's not going to work. No, we can't charge. So what happens now? This really does line up. And I'm not saying it's definitively true. I'm just saying something shady's going on. So the judge says, what about these future investigations? The prosecution has no choice but to be like, yeah, of course. We're not giving immunity on anything else. The Biden legal team says, no way. They go and meet privately in recess. And now they've come to an understanding. Yeah, the prosecution, I would imagine, said to the team, guys, look, the judge says, can we charge you? And we can. We're not gonna, but we can't say no because it's a legal question. It's a fact question. Don't worry about it. Just sign the deal. This is what we talked about. And now here we go. It appears the deal is back on. Oh, man. What is going on? Hunter Biden did a whole bunch of shady stuff. And this makes sense because it's his dad's Department of Justice. Listen, we're going to get you out of this. We got to do something about it. We can't just let you walk. But don't worry. Slap on the wrist. No jail time. Everything else goes away. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Biden was in on it. And Joe said to Hunter, son, this is the way it has to be done. If we're going to get you out of this, just take the agreement. And he says, fine. Otherwise, who knows what'll happen? In fact, with this kind of backroom deal, they could be trying to prevent a Trump administration from going after them should he get elected next year. Wouldn't be for another year and a half or so if anything does happen. But man, ain't it all just so shady? So as of right now, let me see if we get an update from Alex Salvi on what's currently happening. The plea deal appears to be back on. Hunter Biden's legal team appears to be anticipating future prosecution or at least scrutiny. It showed a willingness to blow up the plea deal without blanket immunity. Plus, Republicans have a new line of attack against Biden. The DOJ confirms an investigation is ongoing. Great. I'm not convinced anything will happen to these people. Democrats are bringing criminal charges against a plethora of Republicans, from Trump, his associates, and even Republicans in Michigan for simply signing electoral votes, which has been done by Democrats in 1960. Seemingly just a normal thing to do if you were in dispute and there was a court case. The Democrats are willing to arrest, charge, and lock up all of their opponents, even without charge or trial. You are in a civil war. What do we do? Well, look, the good news is culture building, things like Sound of Freedom, seriously makes a difference because you win a culture war by building culture. When more people are shown the truth, then you will win more votes. You will win that system back. You will win that influence. But as of right now, you have the weight of the law enforcement apparatus, weight of law enforcement in this country being weaponized against Democrats' political opponents. It's not just Republicans, but it's mostly Republicans. It's some libertarian types and anti-war individuals too. And this says a whole lot. Republicans are unwilling to do anything. They never have been. And so they're getting crushed. This is why people like Donald Trump, because they think he's going to come with some mallet of sorts into the system and just start tearing it all down from the inside. A bull in a china shop. Trump saying no. You see, the thing about Hunter Biden, when Joe Biden said Hunter did nothing wrong, he genuinely means it. He's not lying to you. What he's saying is the illicit business deals and foreign influence peddling is par for the course in D.C. We're only doing what everyone else does. He didn't do anything wrong. To the American people who have to pay for all of this, we know that what they're doing is wrong. I don't care if it's Trump, Biden, Clinton, or otherwise. Influence peddling. using your position to gain personal wealth. Trump tried to do it a couple times. I'll mention Trump Doral in G7. And he said, I was providing it to the government at cost. I was saving them money. Technically true, or I should say literally true. But the issue is still directing funding to support your business, even at cost, still maintains infrastructure. It still provides that maintenance. There's a conflict of interest there. What we see with the Bidens is substantially worse than any of that. But of course, it is normal. It's par for the course. We'll see where this one goes. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.